You know how they say this time is different, but it never is? Maybe this time is different. Bitcoin. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching my videos. My name is DaVinci Jeremy in the pipe 5x5 here in Dubai. Man, I was looking at the information, started seeing that maybe that liquidity was coming back into Bitcoin after this massive rug pull by President Trump on 10/10/25. That was October 10th, 2025. And there was a lot of liquidity that was pulled out, and there was a lot of forced selling and so forth. We saw all that. I saw all that going into the market, and I actually confirmed it with AI. And so we're going to talk about that and more in today's episode. And then we're also going to figure out if, hey, you know what? Has the liquidity come back in? And is Bitcoin is this just a leg, right? In a longer bull market, longer secular bull market? And this is different. 4-year cycle is over. It started back in 2024. Could be. Could be. Let's see. Let's take a look at what we can see. But first off, right, I want to go over a few things. One, right, there was, clearly, someone, right, wanted to manipulate to make the markets down. I wonder, well, maybe it was the Federal Reserve because they have to go quantitative easing. And so, yeah, they probably said, hey, President, can you dump the markets and liquidate everybody so that we can, start from the lows, right? So that we can print more money. Because, Bitcoin competes with the US dollar. So got to do something about that, right? And then there's the evidence of a seller hitting the market every day at New York Open at 9:30 exactly, every single time, every day. Like he was forced to liquidate his positions over and over and over again, right? It's pretty specific evidence there, right? But it could be circumstantial, not a smoking gun. But sure does look like somebody was forced to actually liquidate their positions, right? Other evidence of force constraint selling, right? Beyond 9:30 seller, right? There was the 10/10 liquidation footprint, right? 19 to 20 billion obviously was liquidated, more than FTX and so forth, right? Um, and then many entities, right? Many market makers, people who basically or not just market makers, but also OTC desks. They were probably caught on the wrong side of this, and so they had to clean up their books. And take losses, heavy losses. Market makers are one of those two. So they, instead of taking the heavy losses at a higher price, they had to take it at a lower price. They had to take it at a higher price, and that's why we saw markets dump over and over again. Right? We saw spot ETF whales just getting out like crazy, of course. But not everything was forced. Right? Some people were shorting this. Right? It's boring Bitcoin to short it. But here's the cool news. Right? The forced sellers always run out, and the data shows pace is slowing down. This is what AI is telling me. Right? The exchange selling pressure is decelerating heavy. Right? ETF outflows already have peaked and now have reversed. Stablecoin inflows are returning to normal levels, and on-chain signals match the latest stage of this capitulation period. So, yeah, looks like we are at the end, right? The 9:30 a.m. seller pattern is breaking down. He's not selling as much, right, and going away. Liquidations have dried up, and the fuel is gone. Whales have shifted to selling to accumulation, and on top of that, the government shut down. And on the 10th, the Fed is going to switch from QT, quantitative tightening, reducing the money supply, to QE, increasing the money supply. So these factors, these fundamental factors, indicate that Bitcoin could be in this was just a quick bear situation in a longer time frame, because we're so used to it actually happening very, very fast in the past. This time it's happening really slow, and this might be a change in the market. All right, with that said, we're going to be going into trading now, and we're going to look at the technical analysis. You could trade this at x.dj15.com, right? There you'll find lots of exchanges, right? Some of these exchanges, WeX, doing extremely well, right? You can start trading at WeX or Femex and get a lot of free money, and if you deposit enough, and you can start trading and making some money for free, right? So might as well do it, right? Just have to follow my links here, x.dj15.com, and choose which exchange that best suits you. If you don't like one, you could always go to another. Okay, I really appreciate that. Okay, let's take a look at this. Wow. Well, at the EMA ribbon, we're inside the EMA ribbon in the 4 hour, right? And we're slowly, pumping up, but it might be running out of gas here. This particular move, which I sort of expected that this would come back down and retest. Oops. Don't want to move that parking garage, but I sort of expected it to retest these lows at 82 lows, and it's not. Interesting. Let me just hide this stuff here. Sorry. It is holding up nicely. Let's go to the daily. Look at that. The daily bands are just so widespread and far away from the daily price that, we cannot be surprised if the daily comes back and at least visits inside the band for a little bit before, if there's any kind of reversal. But I honestly expected just one quick wick down, and that the probability of that is diminishing very, very rapidly. We could just retest the $86,000 level, maybe go a little bit below that, but then it looks like we want to retest the 91K, where we'll probably meet with the EMA ribbons as they come back down. So boom, that's what it looks like we're going to do next. And as for the bigger picture, well, if Bitcoin does not retest the lows, we could V-bottom here and not surprised with the Fed printing more money and never see this bottom again. That's where we're at. If we look at other markets, is there an issue? Is there a situation where they look like they're bottom? Yeah, look at that. The worst case scenario is we retest the $2,700 level, $2,725, but I don't think we're going to even bother doing that. Looks like on the Bybit Ethereum chart, you can see we are off to the races. We could come back down to 2,800 at the worst case, but nothing really that crazy. Wow. Same results here. It looks like we're breaking above key downward trend line, which I've drawn a long time ago and respected. And now we're respecting it after breaking it. We're respecting it again as we dumped down and tested at that key level and then moved off of it. So looks like if you wanted to go long here, long actually would be a smart move. Actually, it would be a very smart move because there's a clear stop loss that's really tiny at this level here. So, and then you take this, right? Just I would move your stop to break even if it comes back up to that this yellow line here, which is the 144, and then see if this thing takes you even higher, because it looks like we might blast off. And because if we break out, if the nuts and cherries and butts, if we break out to here, right, worst case bounce and then off we go, and we're breaking into 154 category. So that's a given at the very least, right? So there it is. That looks like what Solana wants to do, and this is a worthwhile trade, right? Only 1.3325 risk, so give it a shot. Alrighty, that's it for today. Now I'm going to be answering some questions for anyone who's watching this live. If you want to be a part of it, you have to join the school. And to join the school, right, you just head over to b4b.davincij15.com, right? Our link's in the description below. And yeah, you could be a part of this live stream. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.